Wooten? ESPN insider Jeff Passan.
I think he wants to manage again, but I do wonder if the way that things ended in Chicago, with the Cubs, frankly, not wanting him back even after winning their first World Series in a century, and the way that they ended with the Angels on a 12-game losing streak, this might be the end for him. Joe Maddon's not young. You know, he's in his 70s. He's had a really impressive career, and he did something as a manager that a lot of excellent managers have failed to do in their time in Chicago.
His LinkedIn will forever say that he brought a World Series title to Wrigley. As for the Angels' first game with their interim manager, we know Mike Trout gave them a 2-0 lead with his home run. But in the end, Red Sox would take a 6-5 lead in the 10th inning, and
the Angels fall tonight in 10 innings to the Boston Red Sox, the final 6-5. So the losing streak will live, unfortunately. The Angels now have dropped their last 13 games in a row.
Angels Radio AM 830, 13 straight losses, longest losing streak in a single season for the franchise. They had lost 12 straight in 1988, 13 longest in franchise history. The 13th straight loss tied with the 1985 Cubs for the longest all-time for a team that began the streak at least 10 games over 500. Red Sox get the win in 10, their 6th straight win, tied for the longest win streak this season. Angels, of course, struggling to put numbers in the win column. Yankees, meanwhile, continue to roll.
The Judge hits that high in the air to center field. Celestino back, all the way back. He's not going to catch up with it. Goodbye into the grass. A 2-run bomb off the bat of Aaron Judge, and an early 2-0 Yankee lead.
431-foot home run in the first inning, number 22 on the season. He winds up with 3 RBI. Yankees beat the Twins 10-4. Yankees improving to 40-15. Fourth team over the last 40 years to win at least 40 of the first 55 games. Judge, 22 homers on the season. 11 of them have come against the AL Central. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Things have gotten really interesting in the world of golf over the past week or so. It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Phil Mickelson, of course, became the lightning rod for the LIV Golf Series when his comments on the Saudi-backed league became public. Since then, we've seen more movement, and the first event is set to tee up on Thursday. Dustin Johnson is in the field, and Tuesday he officially resigned from the PGA Tour.
Well, ever since I was first introduced to this idea, I thought it was, great for the game of golf. I was excited about a new format, kind of a new kind of golf that, I think is great for the game, it's great for the fans. I'm very thankful for the PGA Tour and everything that it's done for me. Obviously, you just said I've done pretty well out there for the last 15 years, but this is something that I thought was best for me and my family. Obviously, I'm exempt for the majors, so I plan on playing there unless I hear otherwise.
And to that end, the U.S. Open saying Tuesday all eligible players, including guys like Mickelson and Dustin Johnson, are welcome to play in the major next week. The USGA saying, quote, "We simply asked ourselves this question. Should a player who had earned his way into the 2022 U.S. Open via our published field criteria be pulled out of the field as a result of his decision to play in another event? We ultimately decided they should not." One of the draws for the LIV events, perhaps the draw, money. And there is a ton of it for the LIV Series. $25 million purse for each of the events this year. By comparison, the big one here in the States is the Tour Championship, the so-called fifth major. That's got a $20 million purse. LIV events, $25 million. Of course, on the PGA Tour, appearance fees are not permitted. There are some loopholes through sponsors, but in and of themselves, there are no appearance fees, which is not the case for the LIV Series. Bob Herrig from Sports Illustrated says, just look at Dustin Johnson.
Before a tee goes in the ground, I think the number that's being reported for Dustin Johnson, I have not confirmed, is $125 million. So if that's over 5 years, it's $25 million a year. Now that makes up for a lot of sponsorships he might lose. And then he's got these 8 tournaments. He's guaranteed to get paid every week because there's no cut. If he has any success at all, he'll make another $4 to $6, maybe $8 million. You know, if he wins 2 of them, that's $8 million right there. If he finishes second 4 times, that's $8 million plus. He's certainly capable of doing that. I think one of the reasons we got here is because the top players in golf, the name players, you know, they don't get compensated unless they perform. And, you know, that is not how it typically works in entertainment. I had one agent say to me, it's like a movie star making a movie and not getting paid until it's all over with and they start counting the ticket receipts. He said, in golf, a star player starts out with 0. And that's just, you know, that's just very unusual. You know, that's not how it works.
So many guaranteed contracts for athletes in other sports. That said, Harry notes the LIV Series might have the money advantage, but players are still going to want to play in the majors, and they need a way to get to the majors, and LIV is not yet part of that.
They also need to get world ranking points. That's an in the weeds thing that's very, very important because the top players still want to play in the majors, and if you're not on the PGA Tour, you've taken away an avenue to get there. There's a lot of ways to get into the majors through success on the PGA Tour. You know, the Masters takes the winners of every tournament. They take the top 30 in FedEx points at the end of the year. And then they also use the world rankings, the top 50, by the end of the year and also like a week out. So these events right now don't have world ranking points. And they need to get that. It's a process to apply for those.
LIV Series gets underway Thursday. Speaking of the majors, Tiger Woods will not play in the U.S. Open, says he needs to get physically stronger. He is planning to play in the Open Championship at St. Andrews in July. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. How to deal with the agitator in Game 3. That's next. SportsCenter all night at ESPN Radio.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Matt.
Aaron Donald, he is actually the most valuable player in the National Football League, whether he's a non-quarterback or not.
This and more, Wednesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. This is SportsCenter All Night.